Hello, and welcome to this episode of Cracking the Rich Code, the podcast. I'm John Verico. And as you know, I love doing this show because I get to meet so many wonderful people who are co authors throughout the Cracking the Rich Code book series. And today, my special guest, I know I do this, I say everybody's special. Well, they are. They are. This guy in particular, we've got so much in common, and I can't wait for you to learn about it. I'm not going to give you any details about him except to tell you that he is a certified executive coach with a very interesting expanse of experiences. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. So here is Mr. Fred Drew. Fred, how are you today?
Good, John. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. If it were any better, I would have to be twins to enjoy it.
I hear you. I hear you on that.
So, Fred, first of all, welcome to the Cracking the Rich Code community. You are in the latest book, which is volume 18.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And so is this your first authorship?
It is my first time I've authored, and most people would be surprised because they think I can't even talk right. So,
well, I tell you,
so I'm doing pretty good.
It's a great way to kick things off as an international best-selling author, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're going to do it big.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Fred, first of all, I can tell there's a little bit of an accent there. Where are you from?
I've lived all across Canada. Right now I'm living in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I was actually born in Toronto. I went to high school in the Maritimes in New Brunswick and lived in Alberta for 20 years. And now I'm in Saskatchewan. So all in Canada.
Okay, excellent. So now you have had a very interesting career, and I want to start off with, you've spent many years as a millwright.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, that's not a common term that we hear a lot, and I know that's in the industrial field. So talk a little bit about kind of what a millwright is and kind of the lessons that you've learned from doing that kind of work.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I'm a very proud millwright. I've been a millwright for many years. And what a millwright is it's also getting more commonly known as an industrial mechanic. But we work in large industrial sites and a lot of commercial places, and we fix equipment. Mechanically, we work with electricians who would electrically, of course, fix equipment, and we work the mechanical. So we change conveyor belts, rollers, pumps, anything mechanical, anything that rotates, a millwright has probably touched it. And one of the things that you hear a lot, especially from some of the unions, is if we can't fix it as a millwright, it's not broken.
I've worked with a lot of trades folks, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, all those kinds of folks, and they use that a lot. They use that expression is pretty broadly used, and
Yes.
And I always would laugh about that because it actually makes sense too, though.
There's some truth to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been doing that kind of work?
So I started off in automotive right out of high school, so in '84, and then I started in the millwright trade in '89. So yeah, since 1989, I've been in the millwright trade.
That's fantastic. And so you've learned some very interesting lessons about that. And we were chatting before we went live. And we talked about the fact that people who are in the trades, get really good at their skill and at their trade. And then ultimately, they may wind up as a shop steward or a frontline supervisor or in some sort of leadership position. And that actually is a very different realm and different skill set.
It is. And so, I started off as, of course, like I said, as a millwright. I got into leadership as a facilitator, it was called. And so it was a working foreman type role. And that was my first role. And then I became a supervisor at a big power plant in Alberta, just outside Edmonton, where I moved up to become a maintenance manager of the site. And so the lessons from being a tradesperson and going into leadership is really about learning how to take that, being able to fix something and getting that gratification out of fixing something is quick, right? When I went in and fixed a broken chain, conveyor, pump, you get to pat yourself on the back real quick, right? You feel good. you did it. You go into leadership and it's not like that anymore, right? You're not the one on the tools. You're not getting that excitement. And so it took me a little while to figure out, like, why, what am I doing? And where's that excitement coming from? And it's in the book a little bit, but that excitement comes from helping people learn and grow. It's a longer process. It's not every time you come in, you fix something. It's when you do something and you help somebody become better, learn, work with them, teach them, mentor them, coach them, where they go with that. And when they come to thank you, it's like, wow, there's no amount of pieces of equipment that I could fix that gives me that pride when someone come in and say, Fred, thanks for what you did for me. Right. And so really for me, the lesson is around learning how to get that gratification. As a millwright, as I said, it's instant, right? But as a leader, it takes a little bit of time, but it's so much more. It's so much more powerful.
Well, that is not something that you hear from a lot of people who are leadership coaches and things. They don't necessarily point out that fact that, your source of gratification comes from a different place now when you get into those roles. And there's another part of the transition that happens there. When you are one of the guys, so to speak, and you're doing the work, and then all of a sudden now you're promoted and you wind up in a leadership position. Now you have to become the boss, and you're not one of the guys anymore. There's a different perspective, a different way you have to behave. You have to treat everyone equally. There's a lot of things that happen in that transition. How do you help people because now and I didn't mention this, you're actually now coaching people to try to help them to make this transition into that leadership side of the realm.
Yeah, you betcha. And so really, when you're going into that leadership role, it's really about, I think, going back to understanding that you're doing something different, right? You have to, now I'm able to explain to people the difference of that instant gratification is going to be longer term. And so that's part of what I try to do. It's also about trying to tell people or get people to understand that, what they do for an organization is all different in their different roles. So really, what are you as a supervisor, right? If I ask you what a janitor does, you're going to say they clean. Well, when I look at what a janitor does, they are, they build up, not build up. Sorry, that's the wrong word. They actually are big into, I lost the word. Sorry. They motivate. Like when you walk into a dirty bathroom, you feel bad. When you walk into a clean bathroom, you don't know why you feel good, but you just do. So It's about understanding what people bring to the table and helping them grow and learn so that they know really what they're doing and how it impacts everything. And as a leader, that's what you need to start to do is take away from, your friendships, but help them become better at what they're doing. And really help them grow and learn. And so, you've dropped them you didn't say drop them, you've left and you become their boss. But you also want to watch them grow and learn. And I always say, like, I don't like to put the boss hat on, right? If I have to put the boss hat on, it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant for me. It's not pleasant for anybody, right?
Exactly.
And so it's really just about learning how to watch people learn, grow, and get the best out of what they want. Tradespeople go to work and like most people, they don't want to do a bad job, right? But when they understand what their role really is, what their role impacts and how it impacts it, and how it affects their teammates and everything else, it really starts to change how they are. And as a leader, I think that's part of what your role is, to help people understand what they're bringing to the table. And safety is huge with me. I'm a big safety proponent. I did a safety manager as a while too. And when you start talking about what you're bringing to the table, it's also about doing jobs safely. And things are changing over the 40 years I've been doing this, right? We're not the Cowboys, or we don't want the Cowboys attitude anymore, right? And so now you're trying to explain to people why you want them to work safe, and it's not just the boss said, right? No, you want people to work safe because they want to. And so that's part of the role as a supervisor, is giving them what they need to really truly understand their roles, safety, mechanically, electrically, whatever the position that they're in.
And that's a critical piece is getting people to get on board with understanding that. And you mentioned a few things here too about understanding the impact of their work. That goes back to that proverb about the bricklayers, right? The three different bricklayers. Right? The first one says, when you say, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm stacking bricks." Okay, fine. The second you go to the second bricklayer, and then they've made more progress, and their work is more is cleaner and neater, and the bricks are more evenly spaced. And you say, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm building a wall." When you go to that third bricklayer, and they've got everything is precise, perfect plumb lines, and all this, and they've even made more progress. The thing is immaculate, and you say, "What are you doing?" And he's, "I'm building a children's hospital."
Mm-hmm.
Understanding, the impact that people have, and understanding what it is that they're contributing to, all of a sudden they change.
Yes.
And their the pride in their work goes up. And so you pointed that out, and I love that you're bringing that perspective to people so they can understand the impact that they have, and they can do work better. So we're talking with Fred Drew, who for many years and still is a millwright, and also is a coach for people specifically in the trades. I mean, he coaches others as well, but specifically working with people who are in the skilled trades and helping them to make this transition into leadership positions and things like that. And I think that is a really remarkable position to be in, because that is something that is so mostly overlooked.
You betcha. You bet. And I think the other thing that you always got to be prepared for as a leader is change, right? And that's part of what you have to, when you're coaching, mentoring anyone, you got to be ready so that change isn't a big thing. It's a normal part of life, right? And when you're as a leader, with the trades, we work on old equipment lots of times, 50-year-old equipment, and what's going to change? Well, attitudes change, people change, equipment changes, how you do things change. And that's part of the role, is making sure people are ready for that change. And so as you're coaching people, it's about making sure that they understand that is part of their role as a leader, is helping people come to that change and be ready for
it. And another piece of that too, when you're talking about change, is changing your own role as well. And you brought this up earlier on. When you're doing the work, you feel the pride in the work, but you also, there's a little bit of competition with your coworkers, right? You do a better job, or you did it faster, or whatever. But now, when you get into that leadership position, you're not competing anymore, right? You aren't getting credit for the work. You're not getting that pat on the back yourself, like you had pointed out. But if your people do good work, that is your compliment and your reward.
You bet. 100%. It's the same.
It reflects directly on you.
Yeah. And it's always about making sure that those that work around you, those that work with you or for you, they get what they deserve. They get the recognition, right? And as you said, a good leader brings that out in people, and people recognize good leaders because of that.
That's exactly it. That's so perfect. So perfect. Yeah. Fred, I can't wait to read your chapter. I don't have a copy of 18 yet. Maybe I'll get a copy from you, so I get your smiley picture on the cover. Especially since and I said this from the get-go, you have a very happy face. You bring joy to people. And then as we started to talk, I've learned more about that's kind of an innate nature in you. And that is why not only are you a millwright and a leadership coach, but you have been and still are a professional Santa.
Yes. Yeah. I've been doing Santa for over 30 years now. If I can explain why, kind of how we fell into it, is I was running a Santa's Anonymous in a little town in northern Alberta, in Athabasca. Myself and a friend of mine with the Masonic Lodge there. And there was a Santa suit, and I'm a big guy. I put it on. Magic happened. I was Santa. And
It fit.
when I become these characters, if you call me Fred, I'm not answering because I'm Santa. That's who I am. And I honestly believe that there's magic there when you put those suits on. And I've dealt with I've had kids that have had kids that sat on my knee. So right. I like to do it for different organizations, different charities. I've done one in Edmonton for one of the roughest areas of Edmonton, where there's literally 300 to 400 kids in a couple hours. These kids, a little gift that Santa gives them is the only gift they're going to get. Some of them won't even open their gift until Christmas, but they all get they get the picture with Santa taken and from their families, and it's a special one. It's a fast one, but it's a special one, and I wouldn't give it up for the world. I was honored when I got to take it over from the Santa before me, and so I've done that now for numerous years. And it's so fills your heart with so much love when you see these families and the people that are trying to do better, and you just want to help with them, and you want to give them just a little bit, right? The job as Santa, as any entertainer, really is just to take something away so that they can think of something else for just a second, right? It's and that's pretty important, and so yeah, I love the Santa gig, and growing the beard. COVID really hurt this a lot, and now I'm hoping to get back into it with things are getting, we can visit and everything else now, so I'm hoping they can get back into doing Santa Claus a little more this year.
That is great. That says so much about who you are as a person and the kind of individual that you are. Doing the Santa gig is, it can be quite taxing. It could be emotionally stressful, especially when you're working with, children who have issues or are coming from, really tough family or home situations and things like that. And so, I mean, first of all, it's just a very generous type of a role, because you give so much of yourself in doing that. What attracted you? Said you kind of started off with a Santa's Anonymous kind of a thing. Tell me a little bit about what that is and how you started in that.
Yeah, so I lived in a small town, and the Santa's Anonymous, the group that was looking after it, they were getting tired. They'd done it for numerous years. And so I seen it as an opportunity to help out in the community that I loved and I still love. And so the Masonic Lodge, which I belong to in Athabasca, we took it over, and, we went to the group that had it and said, we're willing to take it over. So we did. And so what it does is, in Athabasca, we deliver toys to kids. So, we do some fundraising. We go and we collect toys from the generous people that supply them. But in Athabasca, we also supplied meals. We supplied a Christmas dinner for every family that we dealt with. And so if it was, you get your turkey dinner and potatoes and everything you need to make a good dinner for Christmas, and plus a bunch of others. And I mean, there'd be a big box of stuff that we were bringing them, and some clothing, not a whole lot of clothing, but a little bit, but a lot of toys, food, and really just to help people that were, maybe something, having a little unfortunate or just having struggled a little bit. We were there to help them and bring just a smile to their kids' faces. And so that's what it was about, is just supplying something, and that's a need in the community. And so, we were probably doing about 60 families a year. And we got the high school involved with us to help us organize things. So it was really about building the community as a whole, and getting people involved that probably would never have ever been involved. And the high school was a lot of fun to bring the kids in from the high school and get them putting the gifts out and separating the toys for different age groups. And it was a busy time. So lots of fun, and
Yeah. Well, but again, those kids involved too. You help to instill in a new generation that spirit of generosity and giving, and I can only imagine how rewarding it is to do the work that you're doing there. And I know you wrote a little bit about that in your chapter.
You bet. There's something when you're offering, when you're servicing to put yourself in service of others. It's so rewarding. It's it's a blessing, really. It's so powerful. And really, it doesn't take much. Cracking the rich code for me was about my experiences, and that's what I wrote about. And it's about, who I am and what I've learned, and why I'm rich. I'm rich in experiences, and those experiences came from working with apprentices, working with kids, working with journeymen, working with leaders. It's all about that, and that's my rich. Rich is not it's not a financial rich. The love of my heart is rich from everything I've done.
That's exactly it, right? Those experiences that we go through, with the people that we encounter
Yes.
over the course of our life and career, and we see how people impact each other. We know how people impacted us, and we choose those behaviors that we want to emulate.
Yeah. And if you believe,
And then, now we get into a position like you're doing, and you're now teaching people about those better behaviors to emulate.
Yeah, 100%. That's, I agree with that. And, if I back up just a hair here, one of the things that, if you truly believe that when someone thinks about you, you're still alive, no matter what's ever happened. I've got people that are going to show pictures of them with Santa Claus, or their grandmother with Santa Claus when she was a baby. That was me, right? So I'm going to live a long time in photos.
There you go. There you go. And you know what? Those are treasured moments.
Yes.
Those are treasured moments that you bring to others, and that's what makes it so incredibly special.
Yeah, and I think that's what
folks.
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, for those folks who may have been tuning in late, go back and replay this darn thing from the beginning. We are chatting with Fred Drew, who is an executive coach, and he draws from a crazy wide, diverse experience as a millwright, an industrial mechanic, whatever you want to term you would like to use. But he's also a professional Santa, and just one of the most generous souls I have come across. One of the things that you said too, Drew, is that you said that you love bringing that smile to other people when you do those things, and whether that smile is in helping some young tradesman or journeyman, learning something new, or overcoming a challenge, or learning how to become a leader in their new role, or just bringing the smile to the face of somebody by giving them a little gift as Santa Claus, or just walking in the room as Santa Claus sometimes is enough. But you also do something else that I admire. And you're also a clown, I understand.
Yeah. Durf the clown.
What is the name?
Yeah, Fred Durf. Backwards. Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
After doing Santa Claus, having the opportunity to clown, it was like, how do you do Santa Claus year round, right? Clowning. And again, it's since COVID, things have been slow a little bit, but things will pick up. But clowning is another one that offers so much joy. And yes, you get some people afraid of clowns. That's unfortunate, but typically when it's a kid, you offer a balloon or show a magic trick, they come around. It's
I think Killer Clowns from Outer Space really went far to changing that, to getting people so afraid of clowns.
Yeah, I know. But
you do full makeup, right?
I do, yeah. And so I'm a white-faced clown, and I've been doing that for probably getting on 20 years now. And the joy that brings, and even just driving in the car in your makeup, and people pull up beside you, and then the car slows down, and they're looking at you. Again, it's about helping people just take away something from them for a moment, right? And if that's all you do, then you've done it. And don't quote me, but Red Skelton I'm a big fan of Red Skelton, but he had one of his things was around, if something that I did tonight helps you down the road and makes you have a smile on your face when you're having a hard time, then my life was worth living. And honestly, that's why you do what we do as a clown or Santa or anything. It's just about helping people when they need it, and being there when they need it.
That providing that just that little moment of diversion and joy it might be just what somebody needs to help them get through whatever trauma or other things are going on in their
Yeah.
life.
And what it does to you as a
And
person is huge, right? I talk about it in the book. When I was going to a young boy who was, he was dying, and I was going to entertain for him. And so I phoned an old clown, one of the clowns I know, and he said, "Don't cry until after you leave." And that's the stupidest advice I ever heard. And right until I got there, my job was, if I cry, that's about me. I'm not here for me. I'm here to bring joy, and that's what I did. Yeah. And when I was done, I jumped in the car, drove around the corner, pulled over, and cried like a baby. Right?
Yeah.
And so when I got it, don't cry until after you leave, meant a lot then, right? It made sense. But, when you're in it, you're there to help. And that's all you're there for. And it's not you. You're there to be, there's Durf the clown. So Durf was there to entertain and make people laugh and smile and forget for a moment. And that's what I did. And then when I left, then it's my turn, right? Take care of myself so I can bounce back and do it again.
Well, Fred, I've said this earlier in here. You're one of the most generous souls
Thank you.
I've come across, and it takes a very special person to be able to do what you do. And I think you are providing some great lessons for people on what richness in life really is. And it is about bringing joy to others and helping to uplift them in whatever capacity, whether it's on the professional side or personal side. That makes making a difference like that is the most valuable thing and the true richness in life. So thank you so much for sharing all of that.
Thank you. It's what I do, what I try to do.
And so if you're interested in learning more about Fred, check out his website, ratchetupcoaching.ca. It's on the screen. I'll also put it in the show notes. ratchetupcoaching.ca.
Can I just explain the ratchet up real quick?
I was going to ask you to do that, just where that's coming. I think I know where it's coming from, but go for it.
A ratchet in the trades is a very important tool, especially what we call the heavy trades, heavy duty mechanics, millwrights, automotive mechanics, all the heavier trades. It's important in all the tools, but ratchet is in the heavier trades is a very important tool. And what you're doing is you're leveraging something to help make a movement of something. And so ratchet up for me is the crossover between the tools, the physical tools, and the tools I get to use as a coach. And ratchet, when you look at ratchet, it means small movements. You're making small improvements. And as a coach, that's what you're doing, is you're trying to help someone make small improvements and ratchet at a time. Exactly. And the up is just, you're trying to make up, right? You're trying to be better. You're trying to help others up. So that's where the ratchet up comes from. And I'm pretty proud of the name. It means a lot to me. So.
And I know it means a lot to your clients as well. Fred, this has been a fantastic conversation. I want to keep going. I want to talk more. I want to learn about how to be a clown, although I was kind of a clown. But like you, I love making people laugh. I love making people smile. And whatever we can do in the world to help to lighten someone else's load, that is, the true calling for being here on this planet. So folks, if you want to reach out to Fred and get to know him more, you can reach him on LinkedIn. He's very easy to find there. Also, check out his chapter in Cracking the Rich Code of Volume 18 and go to his website, ratchetupcoaching.ca. The CA is for Canada, right?
Yes, it is.
Fred, this has been a great conversation. I look forward to talking with you some more. I look forward to reading your chapter in Volume 18. And I truly, truly appreciate the fact that how you are sharing yourself with the world, how you're showing up in the world, and how you took the time to share yourself with us today.
Oh, thank you. It means a lot to me to be here today. So I really appreciate what you're doing. And I thank you again for allowing me to be part of this. Thank you.
Oh, it's great fun. It's great fun. So glad you've joined the Cracking the Rich Code community and helping to explain to people that richness is not about our stuff and our money, but it is about the richness of our life and the impact that we have on the world. So thank you, Fred, for making such a positive
Appreciate
impact.
that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, folks, that is the end of today's show. I can't believe it has gone so fast, but I do say to Fred, thank you once again for doing all that you're doing, for being on the show. And ladies and gentlemen, check this out from the beginning, play it back, listen to it. You learn a lot in just a very short period of time. And we'll catch you on the next show. Be sure to tune in to every episode of Cracking the Rich Code and read every volume and every chapter, but especially Fred's chapter in volume 18. Thank you.